2 weeks? Lots has happened since I premiered my first episode. For one, I'm shooting in the morning instead of the afternoon when the sun is coming in nicely through my windows. That's not anything new. I just have really poor timing when it comes to doing any sort of photos or video or whatever. So, good start for the day. Welcome to episode 2 of Thursday Ramblings with the Traveling Knitter. My name is Madison, and I just dropped a crap load of money at a yarn store in North Carolina. And you know what? Whatever. It was a grand old time, and I'll share it with you in a little bit. But first, I want to share what I'm drinking this morning and what I've been reading, because I feel like adding something that's not fiber related at all to this video. So this morning I'm working on a homemade turmeric honey oat milk latte. That's a mouthful. And so it's very delicious. But to go off that very awkward sip on camera, Dan and I over the last few months have been experimenting with natural sweeteners in our coffee rather than buying like very overly sweet creamer from the grocery store. So drinking pretty much like basic ingredient non-dairy milk, and then adding a concoction of honey, cinnamon, and turmeric to our coffee to naturally sweeten it. And also because we like the spicy flavors of turmeric and cinnamon, they make a very delicious latte. I drink oat milk. Dan drinks walnut milk, which we make at home. And both very delicious, very nutty, very, very, very tasty. And I just, it feels very cozy, almost like, I get these flavors a lot during like the winter months or like during Thanksgiving, but now I have them all year round, and it's like the little hint of joy in the morning, just to get my day started. So that's what I'm drinking on. Right now, what I'm reading just came out this week, actually, and by reading, that's a misnomer. I am listening because I'm busy knitting. So what I've been listening to is Navessa Allen's Caught Up, which is the second book in the series. It is not for everybody, but I am very well enjoying it. I enjoyed the first book in the series called Lights Out. So if you are looking for something a little bit out of your normal comfort zone, this lovely book, delicious. I'm about halfway through. I started yesterday. So if that can't tell you how I'm feeling about the book, I don't know what will. Now, what do I listen to my audiobooks on? I have 2 resources that I like to use. One is the Libby app, which thankfully New Jersey libraries are, or at least the library in Hunterdon County, you can have a free account and you can borrow books from the Hunterdon Library, both ebooks and audiobooks. So that is how I'm listening to Caught Up. But if I can't find it from my local library, I use a company called Libro FM, and I love them. A portion of every purchase or every few purchases that I buy goes to a local bookstore in my area, which I really, really like. Because I'm not really buying physical books anymore. I'm listening to audiobooks because I like to be able to knit and read at the same time. So that is what I've been up to. That's how I love to read now. But you didn't come here to hear about me drinking coffee or reading books. So let's talk about what I've been working on. Have I finished anything? And yeah, the yarn, in the room. Anyway, let's start with a finished object. So last time I was talking about one of my whips, and this whip is off the needles and is finished. This is my Hyacinth tank. Oh, wow. Can I hold up a tank top online and show it like a tank top? Who knows? This is the Hyacinth tank by Andrea Gaughan. Of course, I have one loose end that's not been woven in, and that is honestly until I sew a tag in the back of the neck, because for whatever reason, I still put my knits on backwards. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So that's my lazy way of knowing that this is the back and this is the front. It is out of Ritual Dye yarns, Undine DK and Hyacinth. So Hyacinth tank, Hyacinth yarn, very beautiful. And this, I said last time, I really enjoyed the construction of how it worked up, so I'll go a little more in depth. Essentially, I'll show you one of the tank sleeves. So here's where I cast on, and I worked back and forth, increasing on this back panel on like both straps. So you do the back panel very far down until you're done increasing to do, you know, the shoulder, and then you flip it around, cast on from the edge, which you can't barely see if I could get it on camera. Yee. You cast on and then work down the front, and then you cast on some underarm stitches and then work in the round all the way around. Now, while I was working on this, I had the biggest anxiety attack about my neck band being too wide and not sitting right, and my armholes being too big. Now, the genius way that this pattern is designed is that the I-cord edging, which you can kind of see here, watch my very gross finger, that ends up shrinking the armhole very much. So you still, you know, it's not a super, the way it fits me, it's not super tight under my arms, which I actually appreciate because, you know, chafing is a thing in the summer. But it's not hanging down as low as it would have had I not added the edging. And I really like how it sits on me. I've worn it a couple times. And I know it's going to be the perfect knit for summer. Now, I do want to do this tank again in a wool, either a wool cotton blend or just straight up wool. And actually, it wouldn't be too bad in this yarn. This is Rama Fennel Garn, which is their fingering weight. So it's a different weight than this is. This is a DK, but I could hold this double essentially and probably get the same gauge. But this is very lightweight, and on a cool day in the summer or like fall or spring, this is like the perfect top for me. By the way, this is the Seashore Stroll. Watch me not get that right. It's one of Jennifer Shields Tolan's patterns, which is one that I've also test knit for her. But this gets on a nice cool summer day or, you know, spring day or fall day. This is like the perfect shirt. Perfect yarn. It works up nice. There's tons of colors. So I think I will probably buy more of this and do another Hyacinth tank. In maybe not necessarily this color. Maybe like I'm obsessed with yellow or like mustard chartreusey colors, which you'll see in a minute. So I might do another tank top in that, and it'll be perfect for fall. But I really enjoy this, and I really recommend anyone who wants to try a summer tank top. This is very easy. The pattern's very easy to read, and it's so fast. So anyway, that is my finished object. My only finished object. But yeah, if you want, here, I took pictures so you can see my lovely face on Ravelry. But yeah, I'll have this linked below. And I said that about the last video, I would add links below. Did I add links? No. So am I going to this time? We'll see. But yeah, so I've already added it to my Ravelry. I've already posted on Instagram. I'm obsessed. All right, so let's see about some whips. Hold on. First whip, which I've done a lot of work on. I cast this on after my last video, and it's only been on my needles for 2 weeks and change. 2 weeks and change. Let's see if I can find the front and the back. Okay, this is my Diona tee by Sari Nordlund. It is out of West Wool's Tandem yarn base in mustard, I think, or Dijon mustard. You know what I'm saying. So, and let me show you what the pattern looks like close. So this is what she'll look like when she's all done. It's a short sleeve t-shirt, and oh my god, I can't get over how beautiful this yarn is. First of all, this yarn has been sitting in stash since last July when I got home from Amsterdam. I went to see Taylor Swift in Amsterdam. My husband and I made a whole trip out of it. And I went to Stephen and Penelope because, of course, you're in Amsterdam. You go and visit Stephen and Penelope. So this is one of the many things I bought yarn for on that trip. And I knew exactly that this was what it was going to be. And then it just sat and sat and sat because I had other plans of things to do. And I was, you know, thinking of lots of other projects to work on. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to go with it. I was a little intimidated by the cable stitch when I first, you know, started working on it. But I will say the way that this yarn works up, the way the cables look, they're so squishy and defined. Like, I mean, I'm holding it back from the camera and I can still see how beautiful the cables are. Like, they're not hiding in the fabric. So will I be purchasing more of this yarn? Absolutely. Will I be paying an exorbitant amount of shipping? Absolutely. So, but yeah, there's another close-up peek. And I really like how the sleeves work. And this is also the same stitching on the sides. So the front and back have this gorgeous cable pattern. And the sides have this 2x2 ribbing, which makes everything so stretchy. You think, like, this looks so small on my needles. It fits so nice. And I was like 5.5, 6 inches in to the underarm. So I'm going to try it on once I finish this repeat and then see how much farther I want to go. Because this is more of a cropped kind of style. One that I would more like crop and wear with like high-waisted pants or a skirt. I don't really want it to be like super long because it's very form-fitting. But yeah, we will see how it goes. Yes, I just did sound effects. It's okay. You'll get over it. But yeah, whip number 1. Okay. And whip number 2. Now, those who know me personally know that Dan and I will be celebrating 5 years being married in September. And I decided that I wanted to make him an anniversary sweater. So in January, while we were on a friend trip in New Hampshire and Vermont, I picked up some yarn from Woolly Thistle, which, if you've never heard of Woolly Thistle, it is the go-to spot to buy yarn that is your wooliest of wools, your non-superwash, your British wools, your local American farm harvested wool. I could go off and on all about it. But I bought wool. Dan wanted green, which his nickname is Dan the Purple Man. So green's not purple. Green is just what he decided on this sweater, which, you know what, he's the one that wears it. So that's the most important thing. If he wants a green sweater, he's getting a green sweater. Now, from this little rinky-dink little thing, can you tell what I'm working on? Probably not. So that's why we have the iPad today, because Otherwise, this just looks like a blob on a wire. But I am working on the Catknit Pullover by Andrea Rangel. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. But this is the sweater. Can I get it on camera? Probably not. Anyway, if I remember, I'll have it linked in bio. It is aptly named the Catknit Pullover because it's got cat motifs on the yoke. So, I'm working out of Tukuwool, which is a Finnish wool, in 2 colors. Our main color, and yes, I have them balled up. I did not want a cake for whatever reason that day. This is Tukuwool in the fingering weight, and it is in essentially Kelly green. It's called Vihta. I can't pronounce it. And then, did I remember what the light gray was? No, but this is Tukuwool fingering in light gray. Do I remember the Finnish name? Absolutely not. So, oh well. You see, it is light gray, and it is beautiful. So, the main color of the sweater is going to be this Kelly green. And then we have little cat's faces, or the start of them. So, I'm working on the colorwork chart right now. I was messing around with using my Norwegian thimble. This yarn is so sticky and delicious. It loves itself so much that it does not want to be parted. So I am now using two-handed color work, and I don't normally love it, but it's the way to go when the yarn is so sticky. I mean, like, it's not showing it right now, but these strands keep like tangling with each other and wanting to be like each other's best friend, and it wasn't working. So I decided I was going to do some two-handed color work, which, you know, in a pinch will work. You know, the color work, thankfully, is not all the way down the body, so I'm going to have a rough go of it for the next little bit, but it'll be okay. It'll be all right. We'll survive. So, but I am really loving this pattern. I want to make one for myself, but it probably won't be until next year, just with everything that I already have on my Make 9. Oh, speaking of my Make 9, which I mentioned last week, the Diona tee, which I just talked about, is on my Make 9. So this is the 4th Make 9 project that I've had on the needles. All right. So, what's next? Oh, back to this. So, there's essentially the cats are only on the top. You don't do any ribbing to start, which thank God we don't, because the way that this neck is designed, it would, you know, Dan's whole collar, shoulders would be out. So I'm going to do some really like heavy decreasing to make it more of a snug crew neck. But overall, chart's very easy to read. There's a chart for when you have a darker color as your main color and then one as your lighter color. So if I decided gray was going to be my light color, I would use a different chart so the cats would be in green, and that makes it easier to read and you're not second guessing what color goes where. So hopefully by the next time I film, I'll be farther into the chart so you can actually see cats and not just ears. So, but, and ears and faces. Let's get like a good close-up on a good face. Maybe. Can you see? It kind of looks like a bat right now, not a cat. So that's what blocking is for. Anyway, that is it for whips this week. I've been very, you know, kind of like stuck on one project, and then I finally cast this on as well because I need to have it done by my anniversary in September. Now, the moment you probably have been waiting for the most. While Dan and I were away, I visited with my friend Kevin. We went to a yarn store in Raleigh called Oak City Fibers, and I got this cute little bag from them, which is currently hosting Dan's anniversary sweater. This bag is actually handmade in Amsterdam, but it was custom, like everything for the yarn store in Raleigh. So it's nice, durable, like canvas, and I just love the colors. So this was one of my purchases. And now I have some other purchases, which I will get into. First, a couple things that I don't have a plan for. Also, I got this cute custom Delaque bag from Oak City Fibers. This is adorable. I've never had one of these before, but I think it's going to be absolutely great for one of the projects that I'm going to be working on in a second. So here's a couple of things I just bought for funsies. I got some 29 Bridges Studio in the colorway Harbour. So it's this lovely like oil stain, kind of like tealy green color. It's very hard to explain. It's like bluey gray, steely teal. Very, very pretty. And this is in the Lyric Sock. It's the merino, superwash merino, yak, and nylon base. So it's very squishy. I don't get to see 29 Bridges very often, but when I do, I pick up a skein because it is a very pretty yarn. Now, these are two yarns I've never tried before. This yarn is from Red Truck Fiber Co. And this is a custom color that was made for Oak City Fibers. Am I peeping things from before? And this is their sock base in the colorway Oak City Fibers. So there's nowhere else to get this color. I really, really love it. This is probably going to end up in a sock, or depending on how the mystery shawl goes for Stephen West this year, maybe this will end up in the mystery shawl in October. I got two of these. This is Plied Primaries, which I've never heard of before, but it's in their North Avenue base. It's beautiful magenta color, you know. And this is a very woolly wool. So this is probably going to end up going into some sort of, it's actually probably going to end up in some sort of cowl design that I'm coming up with, which I'm still in the works of, so not sharing it with anyone yet. But this will be the main color. And then I have a set of minis, which are completely out of my comfort zone, but I wanted to share that with you nonetheless. So while I was also at Oak City Fibers, I picked up this set from Blue Barn Fiber Arts, and they're local as well to Raleigh. And this is their Perfect Sock Minis. It's superwash and nylon, and the colors, they glow under black light. So the idea is that this will be the main color, and then each of these will play along with it. So it'll be a very, very bright color pattern, very bright cowl, but sometimes when it's really bleak in winter, that's exactly what you want. So I just thought of these, and I actually thought of my friend Undine when I saw these. So she might be getting a little present out of these. Either in the form of a cowl, or I don't foresee myself using up the entire kit, so I will probably end up giving her my extras. So those are all the fun things I bought for myself. Now, because when we go and visit now, I have started making stuff for the people we visit. So for my friend Kevin, he asked for a cowl, and he got to pick out the colors. He was very helpful. He got to pick out the colors. So this is Emma's yarn, and I forget the colorway, but I had it caked up while we were there. This is in the colorway Fantasia. This is lovely purple speckle with blue. And so he wanted something because he plays club soccer. And he wanted something for winter time when it gets a little bit colder so his neck can stay warm. So we're going to do a nice little cable cowl for him. I have not picked out a design yet. There's a couple by Justina Lukowska that I think would be lots of fun. But not set on one yet. Now, for his lovely girlfriend, Natalie, who was so sweet. I love spending time with her. One of her favorite colors is green. So we picked up these two for her. This is from Junction Fiber Mill in New Hampshire, which I love their yarn. And this is in the sport weight of their Making Tracks. So Making Tracks Light. And this is an Aurora Borealis. So pretty. And then the other color, again, it's Emma's yarn in the Practically Perfect Sock Base, and this is in Later Gator. So these two, I can pick them up. These two, I'm going to do either an Alpine Bloom hat by Caitlin Hunter, or I think it's the Sacred Sheep hat, which is also, I believe, by Caitlin Hunter. I love both of those designs. They're both cute color work designs. But I'll start in the middle on this cake so we get some blue, and then it'll work out to green, green and green together. But I love this yarn. I love this yarn, so it'll be something nice. And then when they come and visit us again, I will give them their lovely presents. But yeah, that is all of the yarn talk that I have. A couple things I've been doing outside the scenes, other than obviously visiting our friends in Raleigh, which if you ever get to go, check out Oak City Fibers in Raleigh. I also really enjoyed trying a couple of different restaurants and a brewery while we were there. We caught the Champions League, UEFA Champions League game final with PSG and Inter Milan, and PSG won. I'm a huge soccer fan. So that was really fun. We went to an actual soccer pub while we were there and got to actually hang out with all the soccer fans, and everyone got really rowdy. It was beautiful. Another thing we've been doing, Dan and I are working on our garden for this year. So now the weather's kind of like steadily warm. We've planted all of our herbs. We've planted our tomatoes and cabbage, and we have some arugula and lettuce growing, and hopefully it's not too hot for them. Sometimes they don't really love a lot of heat. Thankfully they're in a shaded area. And yeah, also got oregano, rosemary, thyme, sage, lemon balm, mullein, yarrow, a bunch of stuff, to say the least. A bunch of stuff. And I've also been cooking a lot more since tax season's over. I've taken on a new love of cooking. I have more time for it now, and so I have been doing a lot of different recipes. It also helps that we're part of a CSA. If you didn't, I mentioned it on my TikTok a week ago that we joined with Flocktown Farm in Pittstown, New Jersey, and essentially we have I'm gonna forget what CSA stands for. I'm so horrible. I'll post the link below, and I promise I'll post at least that link below. But essentially it's a community agreement with the farm that we invest early in their harvest, and each week during harvest season they will give us some of their produce. We also get half a dozen eggs from a local farm that's in collaboration with Flocktown. And I really enjoy it because every week Dan and I get to choose what we get in our box. So depending on what they have available for the week, a lot in the first couple of weeks it's been a lot of like lettuce and kale and Swiss chard, which are all lovely greens that grow in the springtime. We've gotten potatoes. We got carrots this week. Trying to think of what else. Scallions, radishes. But yeah, lots of fresh options, and the fact that we get to invest in a local farm in our community, and help that way. And we also know where our produce is coming from. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm trying out a bunch of different recipes, stuff that, you know, I don't normally eat radishes. So, and I mentioned that in my video on TikTok last week. They're not a vegetable I ever grew up eating, but they're great in salad. So it's adding, you know, another layer of texture and flavor to things to keep things interesting. But yeah, so I think kind of going forward, I might be adding more food content into this, and just, you know, kind of well-rounding this kind of like video podcast thing. Still don't really know what to call it. That's why it's called Ramblings. We'll just keep calling it Ramblings, and you're just along for the ride. Other than that, though, I hope y'all are well. I am gearing up to handle the beast that is my stash, and filming the kind of, I guess, de-stash video, which I mentioned I was going to start doing last time. We got busy. So I will be working on that. It doesn't help that I've added more stuff to go through, but goes to show I will not be getting rid of the stuff I just bought. I'm very, very excited about it. But if you're interested in seeing that, leave me a comment below or give me a thumbs up. Either is great. And I can't wait to see what everyone else is working on. I love watching everyone's stuff on Instagram and on TikTok, and I just like seeing what everyone's doing, and it's a great inspiration to see. But I hope to see you again soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, enjoying the sunshine here, and I'll see you later.